I love being fit, active, and really healthy. And form is one of those really important things. Now, when we talk about form, there's a few different things that we want to be thinking of. We want to be thinking of posture. Yeah, and a lot of people talk about posture. We're going to talk about that today. But we're also going to talk about something we're going to reference a lot. And we're going to talk about structure. And so, can anyone on the call tell me the difference between posture and structure? It's my first question for the night. The difference between posture and structure. Yeah, you can type it in the chat. You can turn your thing on and let me know. What's the difference between structure and posture? No one. Anything?
I'll jump in. I'd say posture is more how you carry yourself, and structure is what supports the body.
Nice work, Di. Great answer. And so what we're concerned with in chiropractic is both of these things, because posture can be an indication, of how you're feeling. Yeah, because if you see someone walking down the street and they're like this, they're probably not that happy. They're probably a bit stressed, and they've probably been like that for some time. Yeah. Whereas if Buddy Franklin just kicked 7 goals, he's walking on water. He's retired now. Yeah, but you see him up, open chested, and really, really, good form. Now, we know that posture can lead to structural related issues with time because of things like the Hütter-Volkmann law, which is about forces going through certain structures over time, causing them to wear out or not wear out. But your form in the gym is really important, or your form if you're a figure skater, or your form if you're a footballer and how you drop the ball, or your form if you're a runner, right? And so we're going to be talking tonight about a bunch of performance metrics and how your structure and your posture can positively or negatively influence, your performance in any of these, specific places. So this is Chiropractic Life. All the little black dots are where we have practices, around Australia. I'm not sure if we've got New Zealand on there. New Zealand missed out. So New Zealand's this little country over here, for those of you who don't know. We've got a couple of practices over there too. So, my name's Dr. Adam McKenzie. My claim to fame in terms of sport is I was once in a car with Paddy Dangerfield, Jack Stephen, Jordan Roughhead, and I was the dud in the car because they all got drafted and played AFL football and I didn't. But we were playing for Victoria together in the footy. And that was a very long time ago. Good 15 plus years. So what we want to do is warm up. Well, I'm going to cover tonight, context. So what's preventing you from being at your best? Number 2 is the impact, how it's affecting your performance on and off the field. And what's next? Solutions to help you maximize your performance overall. And some of the things, maybe things that you didn't actually know about, and you didn't actually know that was actually a thing. And so hopefully there's a few moments like that tonight. I'm also going to, at certain points, get you to assess, your family, or teach you how to assess your family if they're not there with you, and be able to look at, well, how is this going to affect performance? So the number one reason, we're missing work is spinal-related injuries and disorders and disabilities. It's the leading cause of work loss, and suffering, and healthcare expenditures throughout the industrial world. Specifically, low back pain and neck pain-related disorders are the first and fourth leading cause of work loss and disability in the world. Right? That's bad. That's a lot. Right? And just for everyone on the call, I'd love you to look this up and download and have a read. This is a special issue that was done by Deed Harrison, who is the leader of a technique in chiropractic called chiropractic biophysics, where they have structurally measured the spine, and we know what a normal spine looks like. We also know what good posture and structure looks like. Now, the reason that this special issue is really important is because there's been 2,788 special issues, in the medical journal. And this one here only got released in 2023. Okay. And of all of the special issues, it's already ranks number 88, having only just been released. And this means that there's a lot of people that are really interested in this topic and exactly what's going on here. Okay. So yes, you may not be a nerd and a research buff like me, but it's still really cool reading. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there. that relates directly to you. And if you don't like reading the whole thing, just read the abstract and the conclusion, and that'll give you a really good outline of things. And it's free to download. They actually paid for it to be free to download because it's such important stuff. Based upon the back of doing this, they actually got asked to do another special issue, which doesn't generally happen. So let's talk about common postural dysfunctions. We're going to talk about increased lordosis and kyphosis. So kyphosis is the thing here in your mid-back. It's your thoracic spine, right? And when you get that increased hump, kind of situation going on. Everyone's heard of a granny hump? Yeah, so that's an increased kyphosis. It might be also called a gibbous. Then we also have this down the bottom here, an increased lordosis, or in the low back, right? This might be called, ghetto booty, right? Yeah, in short. Not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but yeah, that's what we're going to call it. Then we've got a sway back. This is where it's swaying under. And so your pelvis is tipped forward and the person seems to have no bum, right? But their mid-back sticking out. We then have anterior head syndrome. Yeah, this can be called tech neck. Yeah, but this is, again, where we can have that gibbous or granny hump sort of situation starting to form. We have a military back where we're starting to have things starting to, straighten out, right? So you can get a military neck or a military back. And this flat spine, this is when the military back becomes really, really bad. In good posture, and I'm not sure that picture is exactly perfect for good posture, but we want to have 3 36-degree curves in the neck, in the mid-back, and the low back that all stack up on one another. And we want to have the ear sitting on top of the AC joint, or the acromioclavicular joint, the mid-shoulder, on top of the ball of the hip, on top of the knee, and then on top of the lateral malleolus, which is the ankle bone there. This is considered good posture. Now, why do we get these changes in postural state? Because of the way that we live today. I was actually talking to a high-performance horse trainer the other day, and they were talking about how horses still live how horses normally live, and how humans don't live like humans used to live. And
hey, let's pack up. What's happening? What do you need help with?
Hello, somebody's on the call. Who's packing up? Anyway, basically, I was talking to that horse trainer, and it just so happened that a really amazing horse chiropractor was there as well. And he was talking about how horses need to be checked and adjusted a whole lot less, than what humans do, because their form, is a whole lot better. It's actually really interesting, and the cool stat here is that it's actually illegal to adjust a racehorse 2 days before the race because it's so performance enhancing. So I want you to consider, if it's like that for the horse and their anatomy is essentially the same, they have 6 lumbar vertebrae, we have 5, but otherwise it's almost exactly the same. If the horse was to stand on its hind legs, they have almost exactly the same structure. The slight difference is because they're quadruped as opposed to biped, so they walk on 4 legs instead of 2. But for the most part, it's all the same. The horses have a much more normal environment than humans do today, because we sit significant amounts, because we spend a lot of time sedentary when we were used to having to go and find our food. Because most of you don't go and get your own food, you just buy it from the supermarket, right? And then cook it up in the kitchen. We don't have to hunt anymore. So our new normal is poor posture, and that poor posture leads to poor structure. We're early adopters of these poor postures. The average child gets their first smartphone at 10. That's crazy, right? First and foremost, it's crazy because their bones are not fully formed, not even close. The Rissa sign, which is the sign of the growth plates, closing over, generally happens for girls in that 16 to 17 age mark. And for boys, it can be in the 20s. Right? That's how late, the bony development stops. But then for the brain, that's even more interesting. Because these phones, you better believe that they're affecting the brain growth and development. And that also is going to affect your posture, because there's this thing called the red nucleus. The red nucleus is within the brainstem. And the more that gets fired up, the more that it fires up the flexor muscles of the body, which are the muscles on the front side, up the top, which pull you forward. So this is flexion posture. So that forward head posture, the increased gibbous. And then the glutes, hamstrings, and calf muscles, in the lower chain. And so the reason it does this is so that you can run away from the tiger, right? Someone who's got their head forward is under significant stress. And so when you're watching blue light come out of a screen, like you are tonight, listening to me, this is actually driving your stress response. Unless you've got blue light blocker glasses, it's driving the stress response. And even with the blue light blocker glasses, it's still driving your stress response because your eyes and your skin actually come from the same embryonic structure called mesoderm. No, sorry, endoderm. Apologies. So endoderm makes up our brain, our eyes, our skin, and this is the same embryonic structure. Our skin is actually the largest sensory organ in our body. And so this is why getting out in the sunshine is so important as well. This helps to calm some of these stress-related things that we've got going on. Australians spend more and more time on their screens, than eating, sleeping, commuting, working, and exercising combined. The average is 9.4 hours of screen time daily. Now, you might think to yourself, well, that's not me. Well, that means that there's some other people doing significantly more. Now, do you think that they're moving while they're on their screens, generally speaking? Do you think that they're up and getting up and about? Generally speaking, they're sitting on their backsides. 8.6 hours of work or play and 7.3 hours of sleep is the average. Over a year, we spend 143 days in front of a screen. Do you think that this could lead to issues with your form? And do you think that may affect your ability to perform? I'd say yes. So tech neck is a modern affliction. Overuse of technology and excessive hunching forward, can lead to that forward head posture, that tech neck, that granny hump. They also can call it eye hunch in different lectures. Basically, this is caused by that firing of that red nucleus. Everyone thinks that the kids have forward head because they've just got their head forward all the time. But that's not actually the case. It's that plus, and more importantly, right, the amount of time that they're looking at blue light. That driving of the red nucleus actually makes up more than 70% of the reason for the head forward, not the actual posture that they're in for that period of time. It's a lot of weight to carry. So basically the average human head, not mine because that's probably bigger, but the average human head weighs about 5 kilos. If you move it forward by around 30 degrees, it turns that 5 kilo weight into 18 kilos. More than 350% more pressure on the cervical spine. Then, if we get to 60 degrees of head forward, we get to 27 kilos, which is 550% more pressure on the spine, on the muscles, joints, ligaments, and tendons. Now, I want you to just think of a car. If we misalign the car tire and we put 550% more weight through those tires, will they wear faster or faster? Faster, right? And this is just the structural components. Now, what I want to talk to you about is the more important part. What actually does the spine protect that comes down through the neck here? Protects the spinal cord. Now, the spinal cord, we're going to talk about this more later, and I'm going to talk to you about some really special numbers, the N30 ratio and the N13 to 30 ratio. The spinal cord is a really delicate structure. Has anyone ever banged their funny bone? And you actually hit your ulnar nerve, right? And you know how much it really feels funny and it can hurt like all get out. Well, I need you to know that sensitivity, you don't have to hit it very much, do you, for it to feel really funny and for it to be really shocking. Well, I want you to imagine that your spinal cord's just as delicate. And if we're putting 500 to 550% more pressure on it, do you reckon that might cause issues in its communication from the brain to the body and from the body back to the brain? Do you reckon that might change the coherence of the messaging between the brain and the body and the body and the brain? You better believe it does. And so what we know is that you actually have subluxation, and we can actually define subluxation in a global sense. If you have more than 15 mil, 1.5 centimeters of anterior head carriage, you are subluxated in a global sense. You are putting way too much pressure through that spinal cord. So this is in relation to where the EAM is, where the ear hole is, and your AC joint. That's the measurement. So if you're on the call right now, I'd love you to pop your camera on. And if there's someone there with you, what I'd love you to do is pop your finger on their AC joint. So so if I use a mouse, this is this guy's AC joint here, right? Just over where the spine is. And then this is where his ear hole is. And see how there's a big difference between those two? And then see when we get to here, see this is his AC joint here, and see how it's actually forward of the spine. And then see how it's sitting where his ear is. That's what it should be like. Right. And so I want you to really consider this. And you ready for this? When you're walking around, you'll be able to see this in people and you'll know that that person really needs to get their spine and nervous system checked. At the very least, they need some posture photos. Yeah. But ideally, they need a structural x-ray so we can actually see what's happening underneath the surface. Yeah. Why is this happening? Yeah. What's the underlying cause? Because did you know that this head forward thing here, this is actually the major contributor to the low back problems that we talked about earlier. The main cause of this down here not working properly is this up here not working properly because, everyone can do this exercise if you would like. If you sit up nice and straight in your chair, if you put your thumbs in the small of your lower back, so down in here on those two muscles there, if you stick your head forward, you will notice those muscles begin to engage. And so I want you to imagine that your head's forward and it stays forward, right, all day while you're working hard, right? And you're a plumber, as an example. And then you go to do something trivial and you pick up a spanner off the ground and bang, your low back goes on you. And you don't understand quite why that happened. But the reason it happened is because your form has been poor throughout the whole day. This could be the same as a weightlifter. They've done all their sets and then they go to tie their shoelace and bang, there goes their low back. And it was because their form wasn't correct, during the whole session, not because that one rep, did the thing. That's generally not the case. Also, a lot of people think that when they injure themselves, for example, in the gym, that it's a misfiring of a muscle or something like that. What it actually is a misfiring of the brain. It's a lack of communication between the brain and whatever it's asking the muscle to do and back again. It needs to work in a full loop. So, we're adding to the issues with our poor posture when sitting. And so as your head comes further forward, right, it actually, if you change the angle of your atlas was a bloke in Greek mythology who had the world on his shoulders. Atlas is this top vertebra. As you move your head forward, it actually directly affects your vertebral arteries. And if you've got this amount of head forward, this will be reducing the blood flow to the brain by around 80%. That's a lot, right? And so I hear you say, but blood, head forward. Why is blood important? Blood's important because what's it taking to the brain? Oxygen and nutrients. If you don't get enough oxygen to the brain, what will you get? A foggy brain. Who's ever had brain fog, can't think straight? Things are not working real well. This might be because you're too far forward, bro. And so what we want to do is make sure that this is not happening. Now, if this is like this for over a time, do you reckon there's a chance that the muscles here don't want his head to be that far forward and they might be in further stress and strain and we end up with this straightened neck and we're going to have strained neck muscles and we're going to be building up lactic acid and by the end of the day we're going to start to feel real crummy. Fair chance, right? Do you reckon that over a longer period of time, let's go like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years, do you reckon that might eventually start to cause damage to the discs because we've got increased load on the front part of the disc? Do you reckon that if we've got reduced communication with the body, from the brain down, that might start to not give as much information to the abs or to the glutes or to the leg muscles? And so consistently, we're getting less water watering this plant. I want you to think of the nerve flow, going to the muscles like water going to a plant. And if we stop watering it, what happens to the plant? It starts to wilt, right? What happens to your muscles if you don't use them? If you don't use it, you lose it, right? If you don't move it, you lose it, right? This was actually Nobel Prize winning research in 1981. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize. 90% of the stimulation and nutrition to your brain comes from movement of your spine. Move it or lose it. Most people have heard the saying, but they don't actually know about the Nobel Prize winning research. So it's actually physics. And the guys at Chiropractic Biophysics have actually measured all of this. So this here is an example of posture screen. This is one of the apps that we use in our practices. And what it does is it takes a picture of someone. Who have we got there? I'm not even sure who that is. Jane Doe. Yeah, that must be a made up person. And so...
No. It's Adam Smith's patient.
Oh, perfect. It's
with permission.
Patients, and her name is now Jane Doe. So what we're doing is we're measuring here the alignment. So the green line is a plumb bob, and then all of these red lines should be, horizontal. On the side view, again, ear should be on top of shoulder, should be on top of hip. Now, I'm not even sure I can zoom in here, but basically what we're seeing here is we can see where the levels have changed and we can see where the postures need to change. Now, in chiropractic biophysics, there's this really cool thing that we do called mirror adjusting, and we put you in the opposite position and then we stimulate the nervous system. And so what that does is it tells the nervous system that this is how it's supposed to be, not the way that it currently is. Make sense? And if we keep telling it that it should be like this when it's like that, and this isn't your standard chiropractic adjustment, it's actually slightly different than that. And what we're doing is we're giving the body a reset, and we're saying we'd like it to be more like this. And you notice fairly instantaneous changes. Now, if you've heard of neuroplasticity before, you're going to know that we're going to need to do this a few times over. Because you ready for this? Do you reckon you've been forward on the computer a few times over? And do you reckon you might have ingrained that? Probably. Yeah. And so to get it to work back the way that we'd like it to, we're going to need to, do it a few times over. Yeah. Quite a few times over. Yeah, technically. So it's important, and the impact, how is your posture impacting your performance, right? It's important to know this. So let's go with this one, right? So this is the neurophysiological impacts, and this one's really cool. And what we're going to talk about today is the A angle. So that's this angle here, right? And so as this angle reduces, okay, so as this goes down, okay, so obviously if this red line here was straight up and down and this was straight across, that would be 90 degrees. Yeah, we're going to call this 45 degrees. Yeah, as we go from 45 down to 40, 30, we're going to get less and less angle here. As this A angle reduces, there's a linear relationship. So a one-to-one relationship with the changes in these red values. And I'm going to talk to you about these in a second. Now, this study here was done on collegiate athletes. So these are really fit people in the United States and in the United Arab Emirates that they did this study on. And basically what they did a study on is, does the amount of head forward, impact their physical performance? And what was the answer? 100% yes. It was a one-to-one relationship. For every mil of head forward, it affected their N30 ratio. Now, this N30 ratio is about the amount of sensory information you can take into your body. And so here's the deal. Has anyone ever gotten really annoyed with someone clicking their pen? Or that little flashing light on the TV, or the little light on the air conditioner in your bedroom at night, and you just want to, put a sticker over it, or you want to tear the thing down, right? Or who's really set off by noises, or the kids screaming or something like that? This is because you're overly sensorily active and you're not filtering out all of the noise. So what happens is, as your N30 ratio changes, you're taking in more and more sensory information. Now, in a stressful situation, this is a really good thing, because if you're walking through the forest and you hear a twig snap over there, and there might be a tiger in the forest that's going to eat you, you want to hear the twig snap, which is like the clicky pen. You want to hear, your work colleague ruffle paper over there, because that might be leaves ruffling over here because of the lion in the long grass here, right? Or we want to hear the squawk, which is your child, squawking, because that might be a bird, that's just taken off because it's seen a predator, coming up behind you. These are a good thing, right? And we're taking in more sensory information, so that we can survive that stressful situation. And so that's a positive in that sense. But in day-to-day life, it's not a good thing to have a high N30 ratio. What they found is it's a one-to-one relationship, right? But let's get into the really physical things, because that's why you're all here today, right? We want to fix our form to perform. The T-test agility test is a test that takes around 10 seconds, right? On average, for really good athletes to do it. And so what happens is that you start at a central point, you run forward, 3 meters. You run to the side, this side, 3 meters. You run to the other side, which will take you 6 meters across. So 3 minutes, 3 meters back to the middle, 3 meters over here, back to the middle, and then all the way back to the end of the T, right? And that's why they call it the T agility test. On average, it takes 10 seconds for people to do this test, when they're at high level athlete. What they found is that people who have an A angle of 50 degrees or less, were 1 second slower. So 10% slower, than evenly matched athletes. So same age, same gender, same sport, same everything. The only difference was yeah, the amount of head forward they had. The second one they tested was leg power. They did this in vertical leap. So vertical leap for example, a basketballer or a volleyball player is really important, true? And leg power for a sprinter is really important, right? But we're going to talk about it in terms of vertical leap, right? So let's talk about a basketballer. Do you reckon that if your head forward, right, was less than 50 degrees, did you know that in all of those people, the average, it reduced their vertical leap was 8.86 centimeters? That's huge. That's the difference between dunking and not. That's the difference between being in the starting five and not. Coming back to our agility test, yeah, this is agility, but it's also speed. If somebody's running a 10-second 100-meter sprint, yeah, they're at that Olympic level, yeah, that we might make the Olympics, right? 1 second faster means you're breaking the world record. So the amount of head forward makes a massive impact on whether you're breaking a world record at Olympic level or not even making the Olympics. That's how much this impacted it. And again, it was a one-to-one relationship. This was the main thing. And so just so you know, the p-value, if the p-value is at 0.005, if it's greater than 0.5, that means it's statistically really significant. So these are all statistically really, really, really significant because they're 0.005, right? So it's really, really significant, these ones. The Stork static balance test, right? So this was basically people being able to stand, with their eyes closed, to be able to stand on one leg and to be able to do certain actions, and how long it took them, right? And what it is it's like a Y on the floor and you've got to, run your leg out. And that turns into the Y balance test. But basically, people who had less than 50 degrees of A angle, could balance for 10.3 seconds less. Now, we talk about athletes here, and it's really important for athletes to have great balance and poise, true? But now I want you to think of the other people who you love in your life, the oldies. How many old people do you know that have that head forward situation going on, that hump happening? If it's reducing their balance by this much, who knows about falls and their impact on older people? Did you know that falls are the number one cause of hospitalized injuries? And so also the number one cause of hospitalized deaths, in the elderly? Did you know that if you fall and break your hip after the age of 65, you'll be dead within 5 years in 97% of cases? Right? So if your loved ones, your mum, your dad, or if you're on the call and you're in the elderly bracket, if your head's too far forward, you need to get posture photos at the very least. And ideally, you need to get an x-ray to test this, right? It may cost you your life, literally. Then the Y, the Y balance test, right? This is not so simple and it's a little harder to test, but it was a negative 6.7, in terms of the amount of time, to be able to do the Y balance test as well, which is the same as what I just spoke about with the Stork static balance test. So let's talk a little bit further about physical limitations. When you have forward head posture, it increases the curvature in the upper back, right? Which decreases your vital capacity. It decreases the amount of oxygen you can get in by, so 30 degrees of head forward decreases vital capacity by 30%. You're getting 30% less oxygen in. So again, brain fog. Do you reckon that might cause you to fatigue faster in the gym? Do you reckon you might build up lactate faster? Do you reckon that your session will be harder? 100%. What about increased curvature in the low back? Do you reckon that might fatigue these low back muscles, increasing pressure on the glutes and increasing your pelvic tilt? Do you reckon that might mean you're more likely to end up with a sciatic nerve disturbance? Do you reckon that might be more likely to switch off your hip flexors and then therefore you can't do your sit-ups properly? It'll also increase pressure on your knees. It increases pressure on your heels, leading to things like plantar fasciitis. And then increase, pressure on the ankles as well, which will tend to lead to inversion, and you're more likely to roll your ankle, right? We know that when the head comes forward, that your joint position sense also goes down. And so your risk of knee injuries, ankle injuries, goes through the roof. Its impact is both mind and body. So excessive screen time can lead to high levels of exposure to blue light, which impacts the quality of your sleep, concentration, and optimal functioning. In terms of brain function, downward pressure can impede nervous system function and reduce response times and reaction times, like we just spoke about. Postural issues. Forward head posture can, from excessive tech use, can lead to increased stress in the cervical spine, so that we're going to wear out the vertebra and the discs faster. And you're ready for this? You've only got one spine. You can get false teeth. You can't get a false spine, bro. Subluxation. Prolonged forward head posture can lead to subluxations of the spine, interfering with the nervous system overall, which can lead to not only physical things like low back pain, neck pain, headaches, but we know that it has a one-to-one relationship as well with autonomic function. With how well you can breathe, or how well your heart beats. Okay. And so if you look up that spine journal that we showed you earlier, it shows you in there, those studies. Okay. And it's the autonomic function. So how do all the automatic functions in my body work? How does my heart beat, my lungs breathe? How do I digest my food? How do I excrete? All of those, vital functions of your body. So let's talk a little bit more about cognitive function. With forward head, right? We're slow to process information. We have poorer concentration. It leads to negative mood, lack of focus, lack of reaction, and ability to take action. Basically, you can't think straight. Focus and concentration. Poor posture impacts the nervous system function, creating slower processing times, difficulty concentrating, and keeping focus. So who here has a job where their concentration and their ability to be specific and detailed is important? Who has a job where, their job relies on them being able to concentrate for long periods of time and get things right? Cool. So if that's the case, quite often you're sitting at a desk, and the longer you sit there, the less your focus and concentration actually works. And so later on, a little later, I'm going to get you all up, and I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that can really help, with this, so that you can do these every ideally 20 minutes. I know that that's often, but you ready for this? It really enhances, your performance at work and in the gym. Okay. And so it would be really worthwhile. And they're only going to take 30 seconds to a minute. I'm not going to make you jump up and down on the spot, right? They're just really simple things that are going to help you, have better function, and prevent some of the problems we've been talking about long-term. So response and reaction times. Neck pain impacts our response and reaction times. We're slower to process information and to progress movement or take action. So would you like your lifeguards, to have forward head posture? I don't want mine with slow processing time, progress to move or to take action. I want them to save me now. Okay. And so I want you to think of this, and this reaction time is not just important for Usain Bolt taking out of the blocks and being able to run, a 9.5 second, 100-meter sprint. Reaction time is really important for a family, because what if the mum's driving a car and there's some clown who's been drink driving pulls out in front of the mum and she's got to hit the brakes? That reaction time can be the difference between, a major accident that involves her and her children, and surviving, the accident really safely, right? I need you to think of these things in just general day-to-day context. They're really, really important. In the gym, where is response and reaction time important? Well, if you're doing speedball, your reaction time is really important. Your reaction time is really important in the gym to be able to fire your muscles when you're asking them to engage. Because if you go to pick up something, has anyone ever picked up something that was heavier than they thought? To be able to respond appropriately to that is really important. What about if you picked up something lighter than you thought? Sometimes that throws you as well. And to be able to adapt and adjust to that is a really important thing, because it will prevent injury. So let's see it in action. So I'm not sure if this is going to work perfectly, but let's go for it. And can I make it bigger?
You cannot make it bigger. Much.
Yes, I can. Look at me go.
Oh, look at you go. Masterful.
Okay. So this guy here is an NFL quarterback. Oh, running back, actually. So they dropped the ball for him 10 times. He caught it 1 in 10 times. He got checked and adjusted. These are very specific and small actions, okay? And I know this might be, but it improved his reaction time, by that 10%. Yeah, he stopped him because he was cheating. And so out of 10 drops, he caught it every time. And this is him here. Yeah, he's a running back. He's a dude who catches the ball. How important is it to that NFL team that pays this guy multi-millions of dollars that he can do that really well? It's massively important, right? I'm sorry that the sound's not working. I might be able to actually drop this in the chat so you can watch it yourselves later. Everyone. There you go. So, yeah, it's massively important for this dude. Now, how do I get back to where I was? That's a good question.
It's probably in another tab, as but
I'd agree.
tricky to see with your hundreds of open tabs.
All your
It's good, isn't it? Let's just go again.
No, there you are. That's good.
Here we go. Oops. We're just going to start again. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So, yeah, so that was the before and after. And so, again, this is massively important to this guy because it's going to change, yeah, where it's at. Now, I want you to imagine this guy's back in college and he's a budding, yeah, star. Where he gets drafted determines how much he gets paid. Whether he gets drafted could be determined by, yeah, his form and how far forward his head is. True or true? Yeah, because they don't all get drafted. The ability to actually get a game on the team and not be warming the bench is going to be affected by this. And so a lot of you know budding sporting stars in your town. Yeah, you know those young people that are trying to make the Olympics and things like that. They all need to get checked. All of them. Yeah, and we also have some scholarships and sponsorships that we do in Chiro Life for some of those people. Okay, because sometimes it's something that really needs to happen. Righto, let's talk about physical function. If we have poor form, right, it's going to affect the pressure on our joints. Our movement's definitely affected. It's a reduction in our physical performance, like we just saw, and it increases the likelihood of injury. So our balance is definitely affected. So in a controlled study of 160 patients, participants with forward head posture exhibited abnormal sensory motor control. Yeah, and autonomic nervous system dysfunction. This is what I was talking about earlier, okay? And so what this means is, not only is your balance affected, but it's affecting how your heart beats, your lungs breathe, and how you digest your food. So your balance is affected. You're way more clumsy and you're much more likely to fall. Running, right? There's lots of runners. I saw John on here. Yeah, one of our chiropractors, Dr. John, is an absolutely elite runner. Yeah, hope you're on, Johnny. And so, he does ultra marathons. Yeah, he's one of the best runners in New Zealand. In runners, poor balance can cause excessive motion, from the foot all the way up to the torso. This can put you at risk of either traumatic injury, like rolling your ankle, and or overuse injury, as your body tries to compensate and control that excessive motion. So sometimes it's not actually the problem, where we feel the pain. It's actually generally not where the problem is, where we feel the pain. Lots of people come in and say, can you, whack that thing? And it's like, that's not where the problem is, bro. It's actually over here. Yeah, we need to look at that. Weightlifting. Poor posture can increase the pressure on the low back curve. Yeah, this can be extremely problematic if you're lifting weights and placing further downward pressure in the wrong spots. So I'll give you another horse example. So I saw the guy yesterday. He used to be the equine chiropractor for the Canadian Olympic team. And I was watching him adjust all these race horses. It was right next to the Oakbank race course. That's where his place is. And he adjusts horses all day, every day. And I watched him adjust a few horses, and the difference in their gait was remarkable. And I was standing there with a couple of other people that are not trained like me, and they can see it. Because they ride their horses, and they watch their horses move, and it's absolutely positively obvious. I want you to think about this, because the reason I'm talking about it when we're talking about weightlifting, I want you to think about a horse carrying weight, carrying a jockey, and where the pressure is going through that horse, right? So, yeah, so that's for a racehorse. What about an equestrian horse? Important or important? Yeah, massively important. Okay. And so I really want you to consider these things. And so I was talking to Heidi about it because she's really good with horses. And she says to me, when a horse has an issue, yeah, a horse owner's first thought is, I should take the horse to the chiropractor, no matter what the issue is. Literally, like it could be an autonomic issue and anything issue. They're like, what should take it to see the chiropractor? Because that's the first thought they have. But that's not what humans think. It's crazy. Yeah, they'll do it for $1 million racehorses. Yeah, but you won't think of it for yourself. That's crazy, right? So, golf or tennis, the thoracic spine issues can impede our ability to rotate with full range of motion. So it's going to be limiting to your swing. Yeah, so the ability to rotate your torso, yeah, and the ability to connect with that ball, yeah, sweetly, yeah, is limited by our thoracic range of motion. Lawn bowls. Yeah, now this one's a really important one. Okay, hopefully everyone's going to pay attention here. Yeah, lawn bowls is, yeah, we're playing for sheep stations here. You get the chicken or you don't get the chicken, right? So pressure on the pelvis, glutes, knees, and ankles, yeah, can restrict movement in that forward lunge position. And again, if you've got good motion, we want you to keep it because it's much easier to keep what you've got than to try and get back what you've lost. Who here moves like they did 10 years ago? Ooh, there's not a lot of hands going up. Okay, so where you're at right now, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing today, will you be as good in 10 years as what you are today if you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now? And if the answer is no, we need to talk. Yeah, we need to have a discussion. Yeah, because it's very hard to get it back once you've lost it. Use it or lose it. Move it or lose it. So what next, right? Solutions to help you improve. I want you to start with a neck exercise at home, right? Now, this neck exercise is good for certain things, okay? But it's also not good for certain things. I need you to know that. Okay? So for certain conditions, this is the deal. But for a lot of them, it's not. If you've got forward head, this is not actually the best one to do. Okay? This is one for if you have issues with deep neck flexors. But again, we'd have to assess you to be able to tell you that. But counter movement exercises, yeah, for those that do sports with one side repetitive movements are really important. So for example, if you're a right-handed golfer, it's really important to be swinging a club, yeah, left-handed in the opposite direction. Really important to keep that balance. So yeah, chin tuck exercise. The other exercise I'm going to teach you, right? So I'm going to pretend we've got lots of forward head like this. The best way to correct this and to see the normal structure is to jut your head forward as far as you can, to then look at the roof and then bring your neck back to normal. That will induce a correct curve. Okay? It's kind of like how you would put a curve into a bike chain. Okay? So I want you to consider this and I want you to get that checked about what's the right exercise for you. Yeah, because you ready for this? Kylie's is not the same as Di's, is not the same as mine. Yeah, and Kylie will even tell you, yeah, our head of marketing, that she had some pretty shocking posture going on when she started with us. And she's been seeing Dr. Michael. Yeah, and he's done a very good job. And her x-rays look pretty good. Yeah, Ralphie's impressed. Yeah, she's almost like she's 21 again. So there's no such thing as muscle memory. Oh, but that's what everyone likes to talk to me about. My muscles have got memory. No, they don't. Your brain's got memory, bro. So, for example, if I break my arm and I put my arm in a plaster cast, the muscles will waste. But that's not because my arm here is not working. It's because the same part of my brain that supplies this arm, it's because this is wasted. And that's what the wasting of the muscles is caused by. Yeah, and so we need to stimulate, yeah, that part of the brain by moving this. Yeah, that's where we get the stimulation of the brain. So you need consistency to train your brain, yeah, to habitually get your body in line. Once your motor nerves recognize the repetitive pattern, your posture will improve, but you're actually improving the brain function. You're improving the map in your brain of what, yeah, your body's supposed to do. It's actually called the homunculus of man. Actually, that'd be a really cool picture to put in there. It's a really freaky little dude that, yeah, is the cool thing, the homunculus of man. Yeah, everyone can have some fun looking at him. Yeah, the sensory parts of your body, Yeah, the more sensory the part of the body is, the bigger the homunculus of man. So as an example, as a chiropractor, my hands are really sensitive. I can feel, hair under 37 sheets of crepe paper, whereas the average person can only feel it under 7. So I've got really tactile hands. So on my homunculus of man, my hands would be really big, as an example. So we want to train your brain. The brain requires feedback, from the spine through proper alignment and movement. In order to deliver the right information to the muscles and organs, right? And I can't overstate the organs enough. Did you know that only 10% of the nerves go to things that you can move, control consciously, the things that hurt, and 90% of it goes to your internal organs? Who's heard of left arm pain and heart attack before? Same nerve, same thing. They actually did a study called the Windsor autopsy, where they traced the organ of death via the nerve back to the spine. And in 100% of cases, there was dysfunction at that spinal level. You better believe that the spinal function is affecting your organ system function. And if you've got problems with the 10%, right, the 10% that hurts, you've almost 100% got issues, with the organ systems that are also supplied from that area. And if you get those problems over a long period of time, we'll have a dis, which means lack of ease. So dis-ease. And then you remove the hyphen and you've got a disease in the long term, if the dysfunction is there over a long term. So again, correct the underlying issue. Don't just do it symptomatically, because it doesn't last. Structural rehabilitation focuses on unique types of posture and spine correction methods for the primary purpose to realign and overcorrect, the spine and altered postures. So, do you have full range of motion? So prolonged forward head posture can create an interference in the brain and nervous system from the spinal vertebra not being aligned and moving appropriately. And this impedes your full range of motion. And if you don't have full range of motion, you're getting something called nociception. No means negative. You're getting negative feedback into your brain. This enhances your stress response. Who could do with a little less stress in their life? Most people. So having good range of motion decreases your stress. So get to yoga. Get to Pilates. Keep moving your body. Okay, the more motion you have, the better. So how to test for range of motion dysfunction, right? So we do it with just, static. So just in one position, range of motion. We do it with dynamic range of motion. We do palpation, so we can feel it, whether it's moving or not. We do posture pictures and scans. We do neurological tests to see if the information is getting through properly. And x-rays can also give us an indication, and a special type of study that we do in chiropractic life called a penning study, which actually shows us the movement of specific vertebra in relation to the one next to it, which allows us to identify how many subluxations you actually have, and then be able to objectively give you a care plan that shows you this is where you are now and this is what we're aiming for, and then give you a care plan based upon the research. This is what it's going to take to correct your spine. Kylie, Kevin, Adrian, Linda, who I can see on the call. This is what would be required to do it. This is how long it will take. And maybe at the start we'll just do a trial, because I say to Kylie, because Michael probably told her this is going to take you 18 to 24 months to overly correct this, I would suggest. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a 30, 60, 90, 120-day trial, to see how much correction we can get in that time. And then that will dictate and be able to tell us, what's going to be required moving forward. And if you do a really good job in the first, for example, 90 days, hopefully we can reduce that amount of care that you're going to require. Because we're measuring it objectively. So let's have a look at Katie here, right? This is Katie, pre doing her care plan. Katie hurt her low back, but the cause was up here. Katie was highly stressed. You can see her atlas here, the top vertebra. See how it's horizontal? This indicates significant levels of stress. You can see the reversal of her curve here. This is after 90 days and getting adjusted 3 times a week. Katie's actual main goal was to get pregnant. She couldn't get pregnant. She'd lost her cycle. And after 90 days, interestingly, she was pregnant. These are the amazing types of things that happen. Now, can we promise those results? No, we can't. But it makes sense that if you have your head too far forward, you're in a state of sympathetic dominance. Yeah, too much stress. If you're in a state of sympathetic dominance, then that will likely lead to estrogen dominance. And if you're in a state of estrogen dominance, that tells us that your progesterone is low and that you will likely start to have amenorrhea. Now, these are A, B, C, and this is a little way along. But what happens is as the physiology changes, we know that the dysfunction continues to compound, yeah, and ensue. And so something that seemed like it was a postural or structure related issue can very quickly turn into, yeah, an organ system, yeah, related issue, yeah, a disease in the long term. So how do chiropractors help? We look to find what we would call a subluxation. We're looking to find that what we would call the underlying cause of the problem. Where is the interference in the nervous system? Where is the blown fuse in this house? Because if you've got lights that don't work because you've got a blown fuse, you can change the light bulbs as many times as you like. They will not work until you change that fuse. True or true? So what we want to do is we want to support your nervous system with adjustments that are specific to you. We want to give you a plan that's specific to you and give you advice about your posture, your habits, your stress, so that you can perform at your peak. Now, we did this workshop, yeah, covering both, the weekend warrior, yeah, type fix your form to performers, yeah, and some elite athlete stuff. Yeah, we can go deeper in either of these areas. Yeah, if you're an athlete, I would love to talk to you about, yeah, absolute peak performance, because that's an area that I'm really, really interested in. It's really close to my heart. But just the same, if you're a weekend warrior and you go to the gym, right, make sure your form is good, because I don't want you turning up in our office injured. I want you turning up in our office to get things sorted before you've got an injury, before you've got a problem, because it's so much easier to deal with. It's so much less painful and it's so much cheaper, yeah, to sort it out before there's a major issue. So take action before there's these major issues. So the other thing that we do in our offices is we give out, yeah, these specific orthotics that are based upon the X-ray measurements. We'll measure you and give you your correct size orthotic. They're called a Denerol. Now, you can't buy these. And there's a lot of things you might see on Amazon or eBay or on Facebook. If they're selling it on Facebook, I promise you it is not the right thing. If you're buying a neck cloud, I should show you the difference between a neck cloud X-ray and a Denerol X-ray. It's mind-blowing. Just so you know, the Denerol has what are called contraindications. There's some people that shouldn't use it, point one. Point two, if you put it in the wrong spot, you will fire truck things up. Yeah? Everyone knows what fire truck is? Good. You will mess things up. So don't do that. Okay? Make sure you get measured up properly. Have someone who's trained in this to specifically give you the right thing for you. And you ready for this? Lots of people are like, oh, I got a shitty neck. I should have a neck one. But quite often the issue is in the thoracic spine. Yeah, not in the neck. And so you may need the thoracic Denerol and not the neck one. All right? Yeah, so, yeah, for example, when Kylie first started, she probably definitely needed some thoracic Denerol stuff going on, yeah, before she fixed the neck curve. Yeah, because it was a thoracic issue. And you can see that just by looking at her. Yeah? And so, yeah, make sure you get measured up properly. If you like what we're talking about here, we would love to offer you an initial consult. So you can scan the QR code here, and we'd also love to get you a free family health check. Now, what I mean by free family health check is this. We would love to check your kids for free. Yeah, if your kids are under 18, we would love to check them for free, because as the twig grows, so is the tree. Yeah, it's so much easier to correct it before it's a problem. Yeah, or when it's a small problem, rather than when it's a really big problem. Hey, Kylie. So basically, what I want you to consider is this. We do a proper history, a proper exam, yeah, with chiropractic, orthopedic, and neurological testing. You'll have posture photos. If clinically indicated, which it most often is, right? We will take some x-rays so that we can see, because to see is to know, to not see is to guess. And I don't want to guess with your health. And I would truly love to help you and or your friends or family or people who you know, your gym buddy. Because you ready for this? You're actually the perfect person to help them. Here's why. You're the person looking at them and you can see their shitty posture. You can see their shitty form. and their shitty structure. And if you don't tell them, yeah, that might cause that injury down the track. So we would love to be able to help each and every one of you. Once you've done your initial consult, then we will get to a report of findings where we will sit down and discuss with you everything that we found, right? We will say, are you in the right place? Because sometimes it's not our job, right? If there's a knee thing that's causing all of this, I would like you to get the knee thing sorted out. And that's the job for a physio. It's not my job. I'm not good with knee things that are caused by traumatic injury. Not my job. However, if it's my job, I'll say, right, this is what's going on. This is what you can do to help yourself. These are the exercises. This is the Denerol. This is what you need to do at home. And this is how you could change your environment to be helpful. This is what we can do to help you. This is the frequency that is best. This is their second best. Yeah. This is what I wouldn't recommend, right? This is how long it will take. This is the investment that will be required. And these are all the other things that we will do in this specific care plan for you to achieve this result. And in my office, I'm willing to guarantee the result. If I don't get this level of result, I'll give you your money back. No worries. Yeah, because I am that certain about what I do. Now, what we know is this. The longer the problem has been there, the more difficult it is to correct. Yeah, and so with the children, please just let us check them. You can bring them in for free. The only caveat with that is if the children come, you got to come too, because you are their brain. Yeah, who's heard of co-regulation? You co-regulate your children. And so if you're not working properly, they're not working properly. If you're out of sorts, they're out of sorts. So I'd love you to be able to fix your form to perform. I'd love to be able to have you guys come in and speak to our chiropractors. They have an information pack on everything we've talked about tonight in much, much more depth. And we've been training them on all of this stuff, over the previous month. Yeah, they know all of the stuff that I've just talked to you about. Yeah, I'm just the guy who's really good at flapping his gums and gets to speak to you guys, on a Thursday night. I hope that this was really valuable for you. We'd love you to join us for our next webinar, which is to celebrate Movember and Men's Health Month.